Good day, macroeconomic students online. Welcome to week one of our study of macroeconomics. Students should have taken the time to watch the 10-minute introductory video in which I explain course structure and the syllabus, so please take the time to do that prior to launching your study of week one. So let me share my screen and get right into the heart and soul of what it is we will be tackling in week one. And so week one, and by the way, these PowerPoints are available on the Canvas page, addresses this big issue here about why we have this field of economics. The idea that economic resources, land capital, and labor are scarce relative to human wants. This burden of scarcity is unavoidable. Unlimited economic desires and wants for human beings, limited or scarce resources. This burden of scarcity gives rise to the study of economics, emphasizing the idea that economics is a social science. That's the idea that we're studying people in the everyday business of life. Broadly speaking, there are three components to any society. The private sector includes households/individuals. Number one, businesses. Number two, that's the private sector. And then government, number three. Now, if you go through the video lectures, which I will show you where they are available. So if you go to the course website, here's our home page, the course website. And then from here, navigate to modules. And then from modules, navigate to week one intro, and all this information will be sent to you through Canvas messaging as well. This shows you all of your week one information, including academic responsibilities. So it says, read chapters 1 and 2, and there's a nice little PDF file here showing you what are the major topics of study in chapters 1 and 2. Actually, the one thing you can kind of skim over is this individual economizing problem when you look at all the contents of chapters 1 and chapters 2. And we're going to spend the first 2 weeks on these 2 chapters. That individual economizing problem, not of the utmost importance for our study. So the video lectures that I was referring to are available at these links, and they're broken down into sections. So there's a lot of content here. I don't expect you to maybe watch every minute of every video, but considering we don't have class in person, which is typically 3 hours worth of simultaneous consumption of economics education, it's probably worth your time to watch these videos. Now, for this week, I would concentrate your effort on these videos up here. The production possibility model will basically be the concentration of our efforts next week. So thinking about your responsibilities this week, there's one academic assignment due this week, which I will get back to in a moment, but we're really concentrating our efforts on what we call the economics perspective. So the economics perspective is summarized on this slide. And like I said, explained in those videos. Make certain you understand these economic principles and concepts as number one, they are the building blocks of everything we will study for the remainder of the course. And it's necessary to understand these in order to tackle the week one assignment, and that is the discussion board question for this week. So make sure you understand the definition and explanation of economics, the idea of scarcity forcing us to make choices, and every choice involving a cost, and then these principles, rational behavior, which the textbook calls purposeful behavior now. It's the only thing about chapter 1 in the McConnell I'm not so fond of. But rational behavior, opportunity cost, marginal analysis, incentives, economic events creating secondary effects, tendencies of the norm or generalization. This economic assumption when we're trying to investigate something of ceteris paribus or other things equal. You should understand the difference between micro and macroeconomics, between positive and normative economics, the 8 economic goals, the 3 economic fallacies, why economists believe that voluntary trade is a good thing, right? And then maybe not so much for this week's discussion question when you talk about the difference between capitalism and socialism, and probably not too much yet on economic modeling, but make sure you concentrate your studying efforts on these economic concepts and principles. As in week 1, what is it you have to do? You have to participate in the discussion question. So your week 1 academic responsibilities include participating in the discussion question, right? So it says here, participate in week 1 discussion question. Please refer to week 1 discussion tab for details. So if you go back into modules, you could go to discussions here, it's listed there, or you can go to modules and look at the week 1. It says college debates. So what you're going to do is you're going to download this attachment here. It has 2 articles about whether or not college is still a worthwhile investment and whether college makes sense. All right, so you should read these 2 articles, right, a grand total of 5 pages of reading. You should read these 2 articles, and then you're going to answer this question. Now, here's the thing. When answering the question, you have to just figure out which side of the debate you've been assigned, because if you see here, the class has been divided into 2 groups, group 1 and group 2, and you're going to address this question. Is college worth it? Is college worth it? So you're going to consider the principles and concepts of the economics perspective, right? So you're going to consider the principles and concepts of the economics perspective against the backdrop of the contents in the 2 articles that you need to read, right? And it even says here, don't bother considering additional sources for this economic argument. Let's just take the economics perspective as our economic rationale for answering the question and the contents of the article. Again, the economics perspective is available right here. What ideas you should include in your answer. So if you're in group 1, you're going to try to argue that college is still a worthwhile investment, right? It says here, group 1 will argue the decision to attain a college degree still makes economic sense. Group 2 will obviously argue the opposite, that it's, attaining a college degree conflicts with good economic sense. So you should construct your argument and make certain that you follow the directions with the Woburn enrollment, and then you're going to reply to at least one of your classmates' contributions. So here are the discussion question instructions, right? So here it is the idea of demonstrate understanding and application of economic principles and concepts. Demonstrate understanding and application, and the economic principles and concepts for this week are these ideas in the economics perspective. So you're going to attempt to demonstrate an understanding of those principles and concepts when constructing your discussion question contribution and when critiquing another student's contribution, right? So it's okay to offer opinions, but your opinions must be grounded in sound economic thinking, right? Now, this is important. Offer details. It says it's not enough to scratch the surface. Right? Don't just give us a 4 or 5 sentence paragraph. Err on the side of writing more. Now, not just writing for writing's sake, but a full and in-depth analysis of the issue. Now, this is one students that might get wrong because they think, okay, it's a discussion question. I can use I or you. Academic writing, it should be in 3rd person. So it gives you even an example here. It says, correct. Evidence from the article suggests raising taxes above a certain level reduces economic efficiency and slows growth. Right? Incorrect. If you are, sorry, if you were the government, you should think twice, as I learned. All right, so only write in third person. Only write in third person. Now, like I said, the PowerPoints are available here. If you have any questions at any time regarding anything that we are either covering in the class or how to complete assignments, anything related to our study of macroeconomics, please reach out to me as soon as possible via text message, and I will get back to you as soon as I have a free moment. Now, one additional idea that I sent through Canvas messaging, and I posted as as part of an announcement, acquiring the textbook. Here is a macroeconomics textbook, the previous edition, for sale for $13 plus $5 for shipping, or $4.83. We officially are using the 22nd edition of the book, but the contents hasn't changed very much. Matter of fact, I've been teaching this all the way back to the 15th edition. Right? The economic principles and concepts haven't changed all that much. So if you want to take an economizing approach to acquiring the textbook, considering purchasing a used textbook, even considering purchasing the 21st edition as opposed to the 22nd edition. All right, good luck with your study of the economics perspective this week. And again, don't hesitate to reach out if you need assistance with anything related to our class.